going to have Tim Smith speaking first. Got a John to follow up at 6:30 around 6:45. Do some discussion on combining the town and village bylaws. 7 o'clock discussion on regular scheduled meeting. I'd like to thank everybody for showing up tonight. And the Selectboard and the village would like to meet, try to do a joint meeting once or twice a year, and it's been a while since we've done that. There's some other stuff that's been getting brought up. And we don't want to belabor on too many points too long, but I'd like to try to keep it in an hour a year, possibly, follow discussions afterwards. But I don't know if we should do names, or everybody knows everybody, or maybe we go around, start with Angie, we go around here.
Can we say his names?
Let's just say on the
Angela Wright, zoning administrator, I'm also a member of the Enosburgh Initiative Group.
Joe, town clerk.
Larry Fisk, Enosburgh Selectboard.
Who are you filming for?
Rico, Enosburgh Selectboard.
Larry Garvis, Enosburgh Selectboard.
Gary Wright, Enosburgh Selectboard. Guy Grohl, village trustee. John Elwell, village manager, Enosburgh Falls.
Oliver Scott, chairman trustees. Larry Sharon, Enosburgh trustee.
Bill Spears, Enosburgh trustee.
Ellen St. Marie, Enosburgh trustee.
Mike Jim Cameron.
Elizabeth Knight.
Don Badger. Tim Smith.
Jennifer Wright. Sandra Pearl.
Andre Dean. Darrell Bobson.
Not brought up on time.
All right.
Connected to the computer back here.
I think at this point, Tim, if you want to take over, and if you're using the board view, or...
No,
Okay.
Not trade.
It's better.
Thank you for giving me some time to speak. So I'm here mainly to talk about the Enosburgh Industrial Park. And talk about a little bit of its history based on the Enosburgh initiative and some of their activity in trying to get things moving. I was asked by Jim to give some history and talk about my experience in the park since I've been with SCIDC, which has been a little over 17 years. And some of you obviously will know as much as I do or more. Over the years, when the Enosburgh Economic Development Corporation was active, Guy, Jonathan, Walter, Bill, I mean there's a number of them that have been active with that and with Galbach over the years. But basically the initiative started in the late 1990s, got some planning grant dollars to plan the industrial park. Funding the corporation took Enosburgh Corporation took the loan out from VITA to help finance the infrastructure to get out to the park. And then there's an EDA grant as well. The Act 250 permit was approved based on mostly value-added manufacturing jobs. That's what was projected for the space, that those lots that would be sold would be utilized for manufacturing value-added. The theory being that those tend to pay a little better benefits as compared to a retail environment, and they wanted the park to have some impact on agriculture as well. Over the years, trying to fill that specific requirement of Act 250 became difficult, partly due to, we've talked about before that the park is 20 miles away from the interstate. As businesses look to locate, they want to be on that corridor. They want to be close to their, what we find Canadian businesses close to their corporate office in Quebec. So it's difficult to recruit businesses or have businesses interested in Enosburgh per se, mainly due to that 20-mile stretch. So over time, as opportunities arose, the corporation has gone back to Jeff Green at Act 250 and talked about altering that requirement of Act 250 for value added. And the focus has now been on what is the infrastructure that can assist manufacturing. Obviously, the trucking with downports, and then with Green's tanker washer, both of those have been crucial to infrastructure, to haul milk, haul chocolate for manufacturers. So that's where those became approved. There has been this discussion about some retail. Hasn't really been taken to Act 250 for their approval, but that's where it stands, is that anything that's above and beyond what would be considered manufacturing would have to go back to Act 250 and get their approval in some form or fashion. Currently, I'm not sure the last time that the Enosburgh Falls at Mount Wellman Court met, Guy, or a couple of years maybe a little longer. That corporation came to SIDC a while back and asked if we could take over the park. We were not in a position to do that, although we did commit to assisting wherever we could in offsetting some costs, and we did do that. We paid for some engineering to assist with the Greens getting their approval and to do some site work along the rail trail that they were requiring, a couple other things. We also planted trees. I presented a spreadsheet to the trustees probably in the Selectboard probably last year, and just summarize it, I think we've put in about $8,000 to $10,000 in the park over the last couple of years. We just paid for someone to go weed whack around the trees and the sign, clean that up. But other than that, the activity in the park's been fairly stagnant. The corporation board, the Enosburgh Corporation Board has been fairly stagnant. And that's where we stand today. Moving forward, it would be great to reestablish the board and to generate a little more interest around it. Obviously, all of you know that Vermont Gas came to Enosburgh. It did stop their pipeline down by Hannaford's, but they have committed that if there was a business that could utilize gas, they would extend it up to the local park as well. I would be remiss if I didn't give Val Bonk a lot of credit. He drove this. He invested a lot of his own time, energy, and money to have the sign built, to do a lot of the work that's been done. I would say that 2 years ago we also, SIDC applied for a grant. We got, it wasn't much, it was $17,000. We matched that, $8,500 from Enosburgh Economic Development, $8,500 from SIDC to extend the infrastructure and put a large culvert in to get across that swale and extend the water, sewer, and the road. So they've done a little work. Done a few inquiries, but that's about as far as we have taken it over the last 2 or 3 years. Before I came today, I did some research. I'm curious to know if this is a book that, John, do you have that in your office? That's something that it's dated for sure. 92, yeah, but there's a lot of this, obviously, there's a lot of same conversations we're having with the Enosburgh initiative, a lot of the same public concerns. And then I pulled out the Enosburgh Falls year-ending report of 2000, and it talks about the community development program and the Act 250 process and all that as well. So coming up on 18 years of the park being established, 2 tenants, you still have lots there, lots owned by St. Thomas Co-op. I think the plan of the Enosburgh Falls Corporation is, as lots were to sell or will sell, then that income will be used to expand the infrastructure as needed. That's my story, and I'm sticking to it. I don't know if anyone has any questions, but you know, as far as the Enosburgh initiative goes, I think it'd be great if over time, once we figure out what direction they want to go, if the corporation board can be reestablished. I guess I looked at Walter, I'm not sure if there's anyone, Walter was active, Guy was, Val, Davis, Garvis, but beyond that, Sandy was on it for a while. Beyond that, I don't know. In the latter years, there was quite a bit of rotation in and out of the office or whatever meetings.
Who physically owns the property?
As far as I know, the Enosburgh Economic Development Corporation owns the property.
And that's a non-profit? And who's officially on the board today?
I don't know. I'm thinking, FCIDC has a seat. Walter, I'm guessing you're still on the board. Guy, I'm guessing, and then,
People that I know that are still on the board, as far as I'm aware, are Davis Jarvis is the vice president. Leonard is on the board. Noel Anderson is on the board. Dick Roberge is, Dick Roder is on the board and is the secretary.
treasurer.
Treasurer of the board. And those are the people that I'm aware of. Yes, I know. Other than that, I know there used to be a lot more members on the board, but like yourself, I'm a little bit in the dark as to who their membership actually includes right now.
Is Craig Snow still on it?
Pardon?
Is Craig Snow still on it?
Craig Snow resigned.
Craig served as chair for a while.
I was under the understanding it was taken over by St. Albans.
No, we had a discussion.
I remember.
But we met on several occasions, and talked to the St. Albans group about nothing was possible, but other than the bonus or assistance, and nothing was possible.
Well, that's where all the cash was. We wanted to cash.
You say all of it?
Sorry.
Do you have another question, Jim?
Well, more, yes. How does it move ahead? Or how does it change from what it is now? You know, we've had several meetings where this has come up, guys recently brought it up, and that is how Tim got to be here tonight was the issue getting raised. And, you know, everyone's hearing the same thing about where it is today. And it comes up as a potential resource for the community, but yet it's just there. I'm not criticizing anybody, I'm asking the question, how does it go from here to something different? What are the steps that need to happen to make it be vetted, be advertised, be discussed, be adjusted or not? And/or does the community, and I'm not being negative, but I'm being clear that does the community just want to let it be what it is and let that board and let the situation exist as it is now? And that's an honest question. There's only X amount of energy people have, and only X amount of time people have to be on board and to do things and to take things further. So not a criticism, it's just a straightforward question. And to the extent that I can speak for people who are volunteering in the community to put events like this together, bring Brad in or Tim in or whatever, is our group, to the extent that we have any manpower, these are all people who live in the town or the village, other than myself, you know, we're available to help to the extent that we can help in whatever way we can help with Tim. I don't know what that is, but I'm saying that we're available to help if that's something that we can do to help. I said it to you guys. So, what's gonna happen, what do you, as the municipal government of Enosburg and Enosburg town, what do you want to do?
One thing I would just add to that, Jim, is the history, part of the creation of the park was the potential for Liberté yogurt to come to town. I mean, that sort of was the jumping off point, that there was hope that Liberté would be opening a plant here, and there was a lot of preliminary stuff that was done to try to make that happen, and obviously it did not happen for a couple of reasons, mainly due to the fact that the individual who owned the company sold it. So that was a big part of the initiative early on, in the hopes of getting Liberté, which was then a great value-added producer of yogurt into the community. That fell through. And
It's kind of designed as a dairy park, remember it.
yeah.
How does it go about being advertised? I mean, how would anybody really know that we have lots for sale?
Well, there's a couple statewide magazines, Vermont Business Magazine and Business People. Every year they do a spread on industrial parks around the state. And I put myself down as a contact for Enosburgh, so
But if you're in there?
it appears in the,
Oh, okay.
yeah, it's on our website, it's on the state website for economic development. So, it's out there. I mean, we've had, in the last 18 months, I've probably had 3 calls on the space, materialized, obviously. There is some advertising out there, but I wouldn't say it's extensive.
So the calls that you get, what tends to be what tends to be the part that doesn't attract, other than the 20 miles for the...
Yeah, I mean, for the most part, it's tire kickers. Playing around with that idea of possibly building a building. And, one of the entities that looked at it was Tractor Supply. That probably might have been a hard sell for Act 250. So that fell through. Another one was a local business in the region that wants to get out of their garage. And we started looking at what it's going to cost, so look at each other. So, I've shared with the Enosburg initiative that, it's something that, in my opinion, if something would happen there, it has to be a local business which is looking to expand or grow. And that's the exact case that you have with Green and Downforce. And there's other ones that, people around the table probably know better than I as to who's working at their home or their garage or their basement, and who's likely ready to take the next step. I think that's what the potential lies.
Off of that, idea that does cost, it is money, I get that, just right up front, but one of the possibilities in my mind that for the park is to actually build a building. To have a building there that someone can lease or purchase or you can condominiumize or whatever, and that, it's my opinion that somebody who drives, I agree that that's one of the strong, in my opinion, that's one of the strong options for that park is a local business that wants to get bigger and doesn't have the space or doesn't have the resources maybe to put that together. But if there were incubator space on an industrial scale, where someone could say, oh, there's the building, here's what it is, here's what it costs, I get that, and then I can make that work or not. I understand that maybe an empty building sitting there for a while while that's occurring. I do understand those parts of it, but I would throw that out there as one of the possibilities for that park. That would be very concrete, very visible. You'd understand you do or don't have it, or take another path as well, just to, create some sort of marketing arm that really markets the heck out of that, and is real aggressive and real assertive. And please be candid. If you don't like that idea, I'd really like you to say it.
Yeah, no, Jim's right about it. I mean, The difficulty with that is the fact that financing, you have a very hard time getting financing for a building if you don't have a lease associated with that, with a potential tenant. If we can find the right person, the right investor who can do that on their own, start out with 10,000 square feet or has a construction firm that wants to do it. You know, some of the initiatives could be you give them the land, you build a building, and then when they get a tenant or they sell the building, then you settle up on the land piece of it. Some of the options could be that some of the infrastructure, if either village or town has the opportunity to do a little work on it, extend the road, then that's an opportunity as well. Obviously that does cost, there's a cost associated with that. But I think it's that type of creativity that's going to move this forward as opposed to sitting and waiting on someone to show up.
Do we have any sense as to whether or not the town or the village's largest grossing employer, I was hoping John was going to be here tonight, I still call it the cheese plant, sorry. I grew up on that street. Whether or not they have any expansion plans or anything that they might be doing that they might not have room for, or something that we could court them with for this industrial park? I mean, that's already agriculture. Have we asked them, hey guys, you want to get bigger? Want to come to our industrial park? It's in your backyard?
Definitely new ownership. Just a few months ago, right?
I mean, it's, you know, it's just the dip away.
Part of the discussion, Sandy, is, and I'm projecting that, I'm guessing that one of their needs would be warehousing. And warehousing would be a difficult sell into the park because it doesn't have the job creation.
Yep.
I'm not saying it's impossible, but that would be I think it would be a tough conversation about it. If it's a building that's putting a line in for a new product, that's a good
new kind of cheese or
right,
something. Talk them into a new cheese.
What I would share based on what Sandy said is that the engineering is all done on the park. Cross Consulting has all the engineering, so it's not like that would be, you know, you'd have to start from scratch, engineer the roads, the water, sewer, all of that is done for the park, so you know, you sort of have to step up on things. It's not going to be additional dollars to figure that out.
Are there commercial industrial real estate agents that might help market it? Or, I mean, beyond the local, I understand the local would be the best bet, but...
Yes, there are, Susie. Only recently have they started to sort of, I mean, some of the bigger ones have just started to inch their way into Franklin County. You know, Doug Yandy is one that is big in Burlington Markets doing more in Franklin County. I see Vermont Commercial doing a little bit more. But in terms of local realtors, there's not a lot who specify or who are specifically focused on that type of commercial endeavors. I mean, there's some that do residential and commercial, but no one that in this region that I know that really focuses on the commercial aspect. But there are others who could have conversations.
What does it take to change Act 250 meaning and you know, to allow something like, you know, I mean, non-agricultural business? I mean, is that just unheard or?
No, there's, and I sort of leave this up to the engineers, but there's a thing called, based on a skill decision. But the engineer has to do an analysis of cost benefit on the property based on the number of jobs created. And, I don't know the specific, but that's something that has had to be done each time there's been a change or a requested change for a specific use.
So that's a long, drawn-out process for somebody that wants to get started.
It can be costly. You know, it's something that we presented to Jeff Green at Act 250. So yeah, there is some cost associated with it to alter that, and ultimately the answer could be no.
Could you do it park-wide? Do you have to do it for as a specific business comes in, or could you do it park-wide just ahead of time, or be able to do
I
it?
think we haven't asked about park-wide, we're going down it on a specific law as the opportunity arises.
Is
Something we could ask.
that one of the marketing issues right now, is that it's too limited in what the potential uses are?
I don't know if it's a marketing issue, it's an issue. I mean, if you just market it in general as land for sale, that's the first item you're gonna, that's the first topic you're gonna have to address with the organization. You know, there was interest to put propane tanks in there at one point. That wasn't gonna sell, there was no job creation. This wasn't gonna meet the standards of that.
Now Jeff Green out there in West Spectrum.
I think you'd be open to it only through the fact that there's almost 17 years now with limited activity. I think, and he's been flexible. I mean, he has altered his decision on the other two that have occupied the park. So I think he'd be open to that discussion with a focus on hopefully getting value-added manufacturing or some type of job creation.
So it's still in place that it has to be agricultural. I thought that had changed.
No, it doesn't have to be agricultural.
It doesn't have to be agricultural.
The preference is
It's value manufacturing. Added
or job creation.
job creation. Okay. So
And the job creation is permanent rather than temporary.
Benefits.
Many years ago, when we decided we didn't think we wanted to be landlords, one of the ideas that I had for the industrial park was, and the need is still there, and that's 55 and over housing, like Hawk's Nest or one of the other places that's in St. Albans. Now, would you want to have some Great and Green's yard? No. But if there's enough real estate there so that you had green space all the way around it, that's about the only space left in Enosburg Falls where you could plunk a great big series of buildings like that. It would certainly employ an awful lot of people trying to get it done.
That would be an interesting discussion.
Yeah, that's right. Our Lady of the Meadows is in the backyard of KK. Doesn't say that. But I'm not speaking nursing home. I'm speaking 55 and over housing, for people who no longer want to mow the lawn or shovel the snow and don't want to live in, whatever the name of it is down on Pleasant Street, but would, prefer to have a condo-style place. Just a thought. Maybe somebody buy the land and put that on.
I think during the planning commission revision for the regulations this year, we got the planning commission added the option of small retail at some of these manufacturing locations. But that was really the only change that was made. In order to do something like what Sandy's talking about, we need to take it under amendment. We're not finished yet. I don't know. Should we be changing those to allow more uses inside of that industrial park?
You bring up a good point. I mean, some, like if Liver Day were to be there, use that as an example, your zoning regs would want to address some portion of that building could be used for retail. I think in the St. Albans Town Industrial Park, they allow 10% of the building could be used for retail. So Ben and Jerry's could sell ice cream on the front door if they wanted to. Just two things. It addresses the situation so you don't have to go back and change bylaws and two, maybe an incentive for someone to know that they could do retail if they're doing manufacturing or retail.
But they have to have manufacturing as part of it. That's how it couldn't just solely be retail.
Right, exactly.
I mean, do you have suggestions as to what we should open that up to if we were to?
Well, didn't we do that?
Just to that, are there other things that we should be changing before we get to the end? At this point, it's a proposal to the legislative body to make that change. But are there others that the planning commission should maybe consider before it's finished? This revision?
I don't know what your covered percentages?
These, for retail space in a manufacturing facility. 10%?
But in terms of the entire building on the lot, that's how much green space you have to have on the lot. That's another thing to look at. Once again, I go back to the town of St. Albans to look one and just burst on, but that's, I think there's 70% to 30% green space. Obviously, these are small lots, so the greater available build out is an incentive versus a higher green space. That's kind of what we want on the community level. So that's something you want to take. What is going to be your coverage for impervious?
Which I think there's something in the regs that I wasn't about. I think for commercial, maybe should.
Right, also.
Right.
You know, height over time has changed a lot.
Yeah, exactly, because I think our regs say 35 feet.
You know, the average pre-engineered steel building had eaves of 18 or 20 feet 20, 30 years ago. Now people are looking for 28, 30 feet clearance to do racking and whatnot. So things are changing over time.
I think that's good points there. I think always we get the board started back up with some of these good points like that. Have monthly meetings, or we're going to have that board.
I think, yeah, quite a piece of that, I think Richard's over being the treasurer, I don't know where that stands income-wise and what payments need to be made on the legal level. Richard's been doing it right along, but I'm not sure, you know, how much longer the finances of, the checkbook will allow for those continued payments and taxes and all that stuff.
I have a question. Let's just hypothetically say that a building goes in there that we build. Where would you even start as far as like what type? I mean, I wouldn't even begin to know what you would want to put in there.
Yeah,
Just like a shell of a
yeah,
space?
shell with 3-phase power, loading dock, you definitely need a loading dock, probably
Gotcha.
2 or 3 per space. Those are the big things. And then leave it wide open on the inside, and whoever comes in can do the leasehold improvements and fit it up as they need. Put a couple offices in, whatever the case is.
Right.
You know, the heating improvement is simple, you can use low down cans for the heating. We just trying to make it as simple as possible to allow for whoever comes in to do things. They would pay for the fit up if they want to make it work.
Right.
And, you know, it's flexible space and they can use for whatever they want.
Gotcha.
Since they've been active for a couple of years, do they have to remain active in order to remain the status that they are? We don't tax them on individual car pieces that they own. How do they remain that way so they don't get taxed?
Like I said, I think Richard has done an outstanding job and continues to keep up on the payments and books and all that. And I think over the years, Dick has also done the 990s. So my guess is he's done that in return. I don't know that, but that would be my guess. So if he continues to do the 990s, there will be no issue there. So he's been filing regularly. I think that's...
And that's something that's done in the state?
He's doing it right.
I would just leave you with that, as I said, we had served, FCID has sat on that board over the years. participate as a regular board member. I think someplace, Sandy, maybe, there was a list of who was supposed to be on that board, like,
I might still have that one out.
I think it was like 2 planning members, some a trustee, and I mean, there's just a long list of 12 or 15 people that were expected to fill seats on the board. Right, one more, remember that one?
From a time standpoint and moving forward, I'd like to start with this, I'd like to ask that Tim help us, and help us collect the names of the people who are on the board, bring Richard into that meeting, ask anybody who's still a legitimate member, still on that board officially somehow, to set up a meeting in September at some point to revisit everything that's there and create a record of all that and get that back out to everybody. So there's just a baseline. Here's what the money is, here's who's on the board, and here's how it might or might not move ahead. Just keep getting information together, not necessarily do anything or take action, or just collect some information.
Well, I think just, to your point, find out where we stand, there's no idea.
Because if he wasn't doing that, what happens? Where does the land
Ultimately, you can lose your 501c3.
Take a vote.
What did Richford, is they dissolved or is it still,
What's that, guys?
the Richford Industrial? Is that just dissolved or?
No, Ryan bought it all. Yeah. So they bought, they originally bought the building that was there for the furniture refurbishing. And so they bought that, and then they bought the remaining land from,
So K-Tech and Ladies Metals on their portion.
yeah, on their own parcel. So the remaining vacant lots were purchased by Ryan from the Economic Development Council of Northern Vermont.
Okay, it's 45, behind the agenda today, so
Sorry about that.
that's fine. There's definitely some great ideas there, and yeah, we're gonna carry some discussion with another meeting with the board, and see if there's some more ideas out there. I like the ideas of having a building out there, and I'm sure some other towns have done something similar to that, and we can get some information on that to look at. That would generate some interest. But anyhow, it's 6:45 here, we got supposed to be at 6:30, so. Thank you, Deb.
You're welcome.
Okay, so I've been meeting with the Enosburgh Initiative, specifically a smaller group of Enosburgh Initiative members, talking about how to take advantage of some planning grant opportunities that are coming. And we've come up with a project, or a brief summary of a project proposal going forward, and I have some ideas on how to move that project forward and get funding through the Better Connections grant program. So the project that we think would work really well for the Village Center, and that has, there are a lot of plans on the shelf.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, okay, did you want to?
Yeah, well, only because I think you can jump right to that. So, we've had a number of meetings with a bunch of different conversations and discussions and a bunch of different folks in the state of Vermont. And in the last 3 to 4 weeks, we've been focused on the municipal planning grant as an opportunity to talk about. And then and all that, and Greta will get to the substance of it, but as a matter of course of thinking about the grant and working on things, Greta had some conversations today with people that opened up another grant possibility that has different parameters to it. So there's really a couple of different grant opportunities to talk about tonight that Greta will go over. So if you've heard me at meeting talk about the municipal planning grant, that's correct. But as of 5:35 tonight, there was another opportunity opportunity came up to present, to discuss the different timelines and some parameters. So just understand that's how this came to pass, or how there, for some of you, that might have been a change that happened at 5:30.
Okay.
Thank you, Bill.
Yeah. So a village center master plan is what we're thinking about. And how a master plan differs from your comprehensive plan is that it is more specific, focused on a particular district or neighborhood. It is focusing on physical improvements in the built environment. It focuses on implementation, and it's usually a shorter, well, it's meant to be about 10-year time frame for implementation. But as we know, with health plans, they're living documents. So they are very illustrative in nature, and they can focus a lot on, when I say physical or the built environment, we're talking streetscape, we're talking building facades or specific plans for specific sites. And they end up being concept plans that then you would see a picture of them, and you would take, and then you would seek funding or public-private partnerships to actually implement those. The other major piece of the plan is bringing the public together to come up with a vision that would then help define what those specific plans are for whether it's the streetscape or specific sites or buildings. So very visual in nature, brings the community together. There's lots of different ways that could happen in sort of a workshop format, or a little bit more creative, and focusing on physical built environment. So there's a lot of words on this screen, I know, sorry. But this was our proposal. I was going to show you some visuals tonight, so instead of printing anything out, I just put it all on the PowerPoint. So this was sort of like, I was considering to be like the introductory paragraph to the grant application. So I was thinking, bringing together economic development and community health in a path towards a revitalized village center to create a master plan that defines opportunities to bring these two themes together, and that will be based on a community-supported vision. So not only will it be based on a community-supported vision, but it's going to be based on market analysis. So as a premise to the plan, there's going to be some market analysis done on what would succeed, what does the market look like in Enosburgh now, and what are the opportunities there. One thing that is great about a market analysis, even though it's focusing specifically on this village center, perhaps you could also use that for marketing the industrial park, or for just, it doesn't have to be specific to buildings along Main Street. Market analysis in rural areas ends up being a little bit more general. So just throwing that out there that, it can have a broad use.
Who does the marketing analysis?
It depends on who you hire. So you'd be hiring a consulting firm to come in and do this master plan for you. And the consultant firm would either subcontract with someone that only does market analysis, or they would be a firm that would be able to do market analysis in addition to the illustrations, the high quality renderings and illustrations that would be
Several
required.
years ago, wasn't there didn't UVM offer something like that for students to do marketing analysis for different communities?
I don't know specifically about a UVM student opportunity, but yeah, I could look into it. I don't know specific offhand.
No, sure.
I love, I think that's great when you have the opportunity to collaborate with students. So if that's an opportunity, certainly do it. So the plan, as we see it, would include plans for physical improvements to the streetscape, including to enhance bike ped environment, really make the streetscape more livable, to enhance the, just the experience of people that walk down Main Street, make them want to stop and hang out. Specific plans for wayfinding and promotion of community assets. And this is signage, but it's also branding, and I think there's a lot of work that can be done in Enosburgh related to recreation assets, so I think that's could be another element of the plan. Specific plans for improvements to sites and building facades, and this is something that, as you are building to bringing together a steering committee to manage the project, we would define sites or buildings and define how that focus might look. This is sort of, you know, a general idea at this point, and you can refine it as you're going through. And then plans for branding and marketing the village center. And then finally, the implementation program. So this is an idea. This is the idea that we've run by a few of the Enosburgh initiative members. I think that there's excitement around this idea. Now it's a matter of putting together a grant application and making sure that the rest of the community and the select board and the trustees are behind it and want to pursue this. So originally we were thinking a municipal planning grant application, but municipal planning grants have a funding limit of $20,000 is what you get, and then with $20,000 you need a $6,000 match, so $26,000 is the limit. And we know nothing studies don't come cheap these days. So typically these projects range from $40,000 to $60,000 depending on how detailed they get. And so as I was originally looking at this scope and saying, okay, well you could limit it, or you could pick and choose things from that list to focus on and go for a municipal planning grant, or we could do a Better Connections grant, which I had a discussion today with Richard Amore from the Vermont Agency of Commerce and Community Development, and he was encouraging the Village of Enosburgh Falls, the town, together to go for a Better Connections grant to get the full village master plan. So the difference is that you're going to get a higher quality product that includes a lot of these different pieces, the streetscape improvements, the branding, the market analysis, that you wouldn't be able to get all of that if you went with just municipal planning grant. And so the caveat there is that the Better Connections grant is more competitive. With the municipal planning grant, you're competing with the rest of the region. And there's dedicated money for Franklin and Randolph County, and with Better Connections, you can community statewide. And last year there were just 3 projects funded. With that, I think you're competitive. So I wouldn't get scared away. ACCD thinks you're competitive. I think there's a lot going on. I think there's a lot of energy to harness here with the Enosburgh initiative. And yeah, go ahead.
Richard Amore was part of an original panel that came up here in May when we had 6 or 7 folks presenting. Greta was one of the people that was here at that. And he stayed involved with Enosburgh with emails and follow-up and ideas and talking with Greta. He's also he's one of the members of the people that are walking Enosburgh Falls on September 14th in the afternoon. So that is a really positive.
Enosburgh is on the map. The state folks know, and other organizations around the state know that this effort is starting, and I think that that will help write a competitive application. So more time and effort with the application, more competitive, but better product. We can't apply for both. That would be ideal. See what we get. So where I was going to go next is just talk about examples and show you a few examples of what you can get with, or what a master plan at the $40,000 to $60,000 range would look like.
Is there an application, this is grants and mails October 2nd, Better Connections application due October 2nd, is there a cutoff date for when the application is due?
For Better Connections, they're due January 31st. Yeah. Sorry, I put it all there. Yeah, so there's a little bit more time to write the application, but it's more extensive. And in our office, myself, I would be happy to write the application.
Could you say that louder again, please?
I would be happy to write the application.
And we would be happy to have.
So I guess I could pull up some examples of what you'll get for $40,000 to $60,000 project. We don't have, so village center master plans at the scale of community that Enosburgh Falls is are kind of a new thing around the state. I was trying to look for really good examples of communities your size that have done the master planning and then gone through and implemented it. And I didn't have a chance to make connections with any communities of your size. I found there's other communities that have Chester Village just got a grant and they did a really great, through Better Connections, and they did a really great master plan, but it was just completed. So they're just starting the implementation project.
But it's already amazing. What Chester has done is already amazing.
Yeah.
Considering where Chester was and what Chester
Right.
was and where it is today.
Right, so it's not just the plan, there's lots of pieces that come together in terms of a community revitalization effort, and the master plan is one piece, and so, but it helps having the community come together, visualize what they want, and have specific plans on paper that they can then work with to make happen. So that's great. And so I can show you some of those plans. I guess what I did want to say is, while there are a lot of communities that are a little bit bigger than you that have done master planning, and one of the best success stories is St. Albans City, and I wanted to point that out. They are a little bit more sophisticated in terms of municipal staff, and because of their size, so they can do more as a municipality in the arena of redevelopment. But they did a master plan, and that led to streetscape improvements, a facade program, improvements to Taylor Park. So they used their plan well, and it can be done. And I think it can be done on a smaller scale too. But one of the things that will need to be discussed as part of the planning process is what your capacity as a municipality is, so that you are creating plans that can be implemented. You don't want to create specific facade plans if you as a municipality perhaps aren't going to have the capacity to build a facade program and sort of to work with that private interest in that way. But talk about whether that's possible and to what level you should plan in that regard. So any questions before I pull up some examples, or do you have any other?
Well, you said that you have to look at municipal capacity for this. I mean, that's looking at the people who are in these offices, or can it also be factored in for the renovation committee? Is that
certainly, yeah, like building upon what capacity possibilities exist and how to build that capacity. So it doesn't just have to say, okay, well, right now this is the capacity. As part of the planning process, you can talk about, well, what do we want our capacity to be, and what's realistic, and how do we get there?
The capacity does include volunteers, not just paid employees
Sure,
in the city. Okay.
Yeah. I mean, yeah.
Or unemployed volunteers.
Depending on what the specific task at be required, some may be possible to be done by volunteers and some. Okay. So I'm going to close out of this and open, I just have some excerpts here from, so here's the Chester Village. I didn't pull up the whole plan. So this is there, just to sort of give an idea of what was addressed in the plan. This is their table of contents, and I promise I'll show you some visuals too. But, so they start out with defining a vision, and they have specific areas they're focused on: arts, business and tourism, historic resources, land use, recreation, transportation, and wayfinding. Purpose, establishing a foundation, sort of just existing conditions, but that's where they included the market analysis as well. Community input, so they had a survey, a focus group workshop, a community vision workshop, community design workshop. So there was a lot of community involvement throughout the development of this plan. More on establishing the vision. And then, so in the vision, this is where they had specific plans for streetscape and for specific sites, and I'll pull up an example of those. The plan also included case studies on specific aspects of the plan. None of those were master plans entirely, but they were specific pieces of community revitalization, and then implementation key So that is what it covered. And then an example of the product. And so here's Chester Village as a whole, and then this is sort of an overview map. And so what this is showing you is each of these little circles here is where they did some more specific plans. And so this was, I think this is figure 13, so 13 right at this main intersection here, and they're showing streetscape improvements. And so down here at the bottom, I can zoom in. I'll get there. We have different alternatives for what they wanted their streetscape to be, how they wanted to be designed in terms of sidewalks, parking, and traveled way. And in the end, they decided on a multi-use path. There you go, recommended solution. So we have this multi-use path that's totally separate from the actual roadway, but that was what was chosen based on two different alternatives. So obviously this isn't, something that would be appropriate for Enosburgh's Main Street, or maybe it would be, I don't know, I wouldn't think so. But just to show you the process where they were given this type of illustration, they were given alternatives, there was a community process to sort of choose, like, what do we want our Main Street to look like? Each town is, each plan is different. Yeah.
Enosburg has a real big problem with parking. People complain about it all the time.
Yeah.
And there just isn't enough parking, so how would you take care of that problem? What would be an option?
I'd like to comment on that actually, where, and I have the opposite view. I lived here now for 13 years. Other than the Dairy Festival, I have never once, not even one time, had a problem finding a parking place in our downtown area. And most of the time, there's lots of parking places available. I think in this community, that sort of becomes scapegoat for people who say, oh, well, this business didn't work because there's no parking. This restaurant didn't work because there's no parking. That's not the reason. In addition to that, the town of Enosburg has a public parking lot next to the Opera House, which is almost always empty, and just a stone's throw away from Main Street. The Village of Enosburg Falls had a parking study done in 2006, I want to say. And that study also concluded that there really isn't a parking problem in the downtown area of Enosburg. There was ample parking. But it did come up with some ideas that at some time in the future, the Village of Enosburg Falls decided it wanted to bring more parking into the downtown area. It demonstrated some options about how that could be done without, demoing buildings or anything like that. Taking more use of some of the streets around Lincoln Park, for example, most of which are no parking right now. But honestly, I disagree with that statement. I don't think that there is a parking problem in the downtown area of Enosburg. And there's a parking study that was done in 2006 to patch that up.
And so
That's all well and good. That's your point. I agree.
I agree it's a perception, and I think that it's, as I said, it's become sort of a scapegoat for a lot of different things in the downtown area that people see going on, and they just sort of fall back and say, well, it's because there's no parking in this town, that's why. But I don't think that's honestly the truth. I don't think there is a parking problem.
Well, I think.
But we could probably argue about that for 2 hours.
It can be part of the discussion. I mean, it's going to be something that when the community comes together to talk about what they want the downtown to look like and be, parking will be part of that discussion. And if it's something that, the study in 2006 will also be part of the discussion. And, they'll move on from there, and they'll have, whoever is working on the plan will be able to lead you in that discussion and determine, whether to take on any of the recommendations in the 2006 study, or just to understand that that you are fine with your Main Street parking, and it's not an issue.
I just want to say that I think one of the major reasons we're here, and I'm not saying this to be funny, is that we need a reason for people to come and park here. Nobody's parking there because, whether it is or isn't an issue, we don't have people stopping we don't have anybody stopping here. Which is really the reason, the initial reason that we started this group.
We have a lot of vacancies
A lot of vacancies.
in the downtown.
Need a reason to stop and park.
So what's on the wall? So you just saw some of the streetscape plans that were developed for a main stretch of the road on Main Street. Some of the other concepts that were developed were, this is a little parklet just off the Main Street. So not only did they do streetscape, they chose specific sites that were either municipally owned or the municipality felt that they would be able to further the development with, whether it be public-private partnership or another way. And so this is a parklet that was designed. And then this is another streetscape, section of the streetscape, common and the green, that was designed. Similarly,
And that has its own parking. The green has its own parking.
Yes, it does. There's a little, I can zoom into this if folks are interested in seeing it. Sounds like you've been through Chester.
I spent an entire day in Chester talking to people about what had happened to Chester.
Oh, awesome.
Because they were in the toilet just like we are.
So it sounds like their population is maybe just over 3,000, is that?
They're under 3,000.
They're under 3,000. So they're at least comparable. I mean, I think
Yeah,
this
Chester's
is one of
comparable.
the concerns is that we want to be comparing ourselves, at least comparing apples to apples.
Yeah, that's what I was doing, yeah. So I didn't have a good town that your size and a longer implementation, but Chester was a great example of someone that just went through this program, wanted a master plan,
Yeah.
and was otherwise similar. Yep.
So in the essence of time,
Yeah.
we've seen a little bit about Chester. Where are they now in their plan?
It was just completed last year.
So the plan's been completed and now they're into the implementation of the plan?
Correct.
Okay, thank you.
And what's the time frame for that?
I mean, generally, they're 10 years. I don't know if there's, I think so when the master plan has a lot of different pieces to it. So now they have committees that are established, and so they sort of take off chunks, get projects done.
And so like you were saying, then it's the town's responsibility to then seek funding. So let's say a sidewalk grant comes up.
Exactly. Right, so now you have the plan, and so then you just keep, taking away at implementing and applying for funding as it becomes available, or building local capacity to work with private interests.
To point out that the downtown designation also gives business owners and private, households ability to get some grants as well. So it wouldn't all be town responsibility, but you could pick these pieces and find the different funding avenues, and you'd have a grand plan that you could see where the end result was. And that's why I think it's really important to have everybody here on board with that, to see that this conversation and this building of relationships actually can lead to somewhere, and now it's time to really have that person to bring it all together.
A practical question about both of the grants. Which municipal body how is it structured? The municipal planning grant, my understanding originally, part of my question was that it's going to go through the planning commission. That's our receiver.
As sort of like the first step, the planning commission proposes the project to the select board or the trustees.
And that's there. So here's the next important question for me, for you, and that is, you have two bodies with two different budgets and two different ways of operating. Would both of those grants be able to be adopted by both groups, or would only one group be able to do it or should do it? what's the logic around all of that? Or the technical?
It sort of depends. I mean, I think that given that it's going to be focused largely in the village, I think it would be great if it came from like a joint. I don't know if you ever get together and make joint decisions yet in a similar way as
Wouldn't that
Swanton?
be really cumbersome though, just from a practical perspective? Because oftentimes, you've got to make decisions about these grants and how they're going to be operated and
Perhaps it comes just from the village.
Different phases of a grant would come into play, and then you've got to go back to the board and say, okay, where do you want to take it from here? Public hearings, things like that. So if you have a joint application, that means every time you have to make a decision about something or even have a discussion about something to do with the grant, you've got to call both boards together and have a joint meeting to do it.
It depends on how you operate as a municipality. If you feel that that's too cumbersome and that doesn't happen, regularly enough to make that make sense, then perhaps you would, choose the village to sort of be the applicant, even though it is a project for the whole town.
Yeah, I know with the planning, the bylaws, for instance, the town did the application for the village bylaw rewrite. And so you folks are gonna hold the public hearings for those bylaws, but it was actually the town that submitted the grant. But
I think so.
because of the zoning.
Right, because zoning office is now
Right, I think that's how it made sense.
It's not funded by the
If we
village.
were doing an NCD application, that's how it would have to be. With better connections.
See, I almost think it would be better with the village.
Yeah, and I'll confirm that that's fine. I don't see a reason why the application couldn't come from the village.
Right.
But I think, the application could come from the village, but then there would obviously be a steering committee of representatives from both towns or from whoever.
And don't get me wrong, if both boards said we want to do a grant application together, far be it from me to say no. I'm just thinking of, the practical perspectives of actually trying to accomplish that if you did receive the grant.
I wonder, could you do something like if the village did the application, the town maybe could write a letter of support, for sure, that kind of thing? Like to show that we're in it together, but there's a.
Yeah, and that's definitely something that we would want to have happen, because it is a partnership. It's not like they're doing this without you.
Right. Speaking.
Yeah.
I throw out that it should be a joint application and could be administered by the village. But that it actually be a joint.
And as I just started talking about Richard Moray today about this application, so I will follow up with him whether he has any ideas for, how the application might best be made.
Right.
I feel really strongly that it would be that much stronger grant application if it went that way. That's my opinion. I won't beat it up anymore, but I just want to be clear about that. That's why I think it's helpful. I think Greta, if I remember correctly, 3 out of 10 people get the grant. 10 applicants, 10 people apply, 3. So the odds are, it's a hard grant to get. So the more that can be added to it up front. Not trying to encumber you, I understand Jonathan's points, and they're well taken. I'm not trying to decide who that is or isn't, but if you can please find somebody, if you decide to go ahead and apply for it, accept that, and I just think that's a better response.
Well, you can look at it 2 ways. One's the application and the other is the administration of it. So, your subcommittee or whatever could be granted authority by the separate entities, and there's so many ways to do it.
We can continue that conversation in terms of what might both be more competitive, but then also just makes more sense. Right. And so logistics. So I have the opportunity to show, I do have more examples if folks are interested in seeing more examples. I think Chester Village is a really good example to show you. So I don't know that we need to see more examples, but I can if you are interested and show you some from Virgins, and I can show you what St. Albans City's kind of like. The other examples I brought were what you could get for an MVG project if you were to narrow the scope. Any thoughts? Do we want to see more visuals, or are we happy?
I'd like to move along if we could.
I agree with you. I'd like to ask that you come back to the slide that showed the two grants side by side and make those two comparisons very clear for everybody, so that everybody, because that's a really, the good news is that there's no suggestion that you're making a decision tonight, that here it is and decide, please. This is the beginning, or not, yeah, we're here at the beginning of the conversation, but there are timelines that relate to those grants and costs.
And it would be
It's really important that people walk out tonight, in my mind, that if you're on the select board or you're a trustee, that you walk out understanding the difference between those two and be able to weigh them out in your own mind to be able to start with that correct premise.
And the difference in money is so minimal as far as the match. I think to take advantage of what you're hearing in town and what we've been seeing in these meetings, at any given time, we had 20 to, I don't know, what was our largest meeting, Jim?
35 or so.
35 of different business people that you don't normally see out in these things, and they continually pop in and pop out of these meetings. So I think, it'd be awesome to capitalize on that energy right now. And it's always, what do they call it, more hands make easy work or something?
And that's a good segue into I wanted to note the fact that there is a match component for both of these grants. And I think it's important to think about whether your comfort level coming from both the town and the village in providing that match. It is something that we are looking for municipalities to do for municipal confirmation of the planning program, is to have committing funding for a planning program in the municipality. So one way to do that is to have a planning program with a budget built in. So I'm not sure where you are with that, whether you already have that and there are some funds there, or if that was something that if not, I would recommend that you consider talking about that, so that you would, when you are applying for applications, you would have a fund to tap into for a match. It's not a ton of money for what you're going to get, but it's a little bit.
So on the left, we've got the municipal planning grant. You can see the dollars right there, 26,000, 6,000 match. The application's due in October. I'm going to try not to sell, so that's doable. That grant could be written and turned in and applied for. And my opinion is the odds of getting it, from what I've heard, are fairly good at getting that grant. We would have to tighten, that what you've seen isn't what you get. It would be a smaller plan. But it sits there and knows the timelines and the dates. And Greta is aware of the dates of the trustees meetings and the needs to meet those guidelines and timelines to get you information and the outline of that grant.
If you just did decide to go down the municipal planning grant route, we can make that happen.
So to be objective, that's one scenario. Then the other scenario is the money that you see much larger. It is a much larger pool of money, obviously. It's 3 times the money. And the grants get announced now, but the application is not due until January. Again, Greta would be able to agree to work for us, for you, and for us to try to meet all those timelines and to manage that process, to bring it back to you for all the legitimate and legal reasons of you knowing what's going on and voting and accepting and all those kinds of things. And it would give you a broader scope of work. That, I'm trying to just, okay. Rudy? Thank God. I gotta have something from somebody. Thank you. With you.
What kind of revitalization can you get for $26,000?
Well, it would be the plan. You wouldn't do any implementation.
Well, it would just be narrowly focused, so we wouldn't have all of those elements. Some communities have done just an economic development plan, so it wouldn't include the quality streetscape plans to the extent that Chester Village does. Perhaps you could do something if you only focused on streetscape program and no market and no branding, and so you have to pick and choose like what your priorities are of this list of items up here that the full master plan could include. And
go back to that other.
So Larry,
Comparison again.
Larry, I think it's really, I personally, so just my opinion, I think ride this wave rather than hope there's another one coming along behind it as far as engagement of our community. And I would hope that we could go for the bigger one and people could see the whole vision and then we could have a timeline on what pieces were tackable at what time. There's nobody saying the whole thing would be completed, but you have that whole piece and people could really see where we're going, not just spinning our wheels. And so it's more than just marketing. I would think, for me, that people could grasp that other piece with the illustrations, that we start here, we get to B, we get to C, and we come up to D. You know, I just think.
Absolutely, that's what I was going with.
And the match is about the same.
Yeah, $700 a bit, it's a minimum.
So what is, for example, if we said, yeah, okay, I mean, what's the process? You say you'll do this, and we'll do this, and we have to have another meeting, and then we ask you, and then what does that process look like?
So I haven't looked at the Better Connections grant application in detail yet, because it just, sort of is a new idea today. I'm very familiar with the planning grant application, and for most grant applications, so I would assume it would be similar. That there would need, but first you decide to apply. You say yes, we want to apply, and then once you have a budget and in front of you with a sort of more of a detailed what the project is, you'll want a formal resolution that yes, we're going to submit this. So,
Do you know if the Better Connections grant is where we pay first,
reimbursement versus advance.
Stuff right here. Is it a reimbursement grant where you have to pay the money in front and then give it back, or how does that work?
No, you don't have to pay the bills. I believe that you can submit your invoices and then they'll advance the money to.
Okay. Okay, gotcha. Isn't the municipal planning grant a reimbursement grant? And we have to pay and then they reimburse? Is that how it works? I think that's right.
I don't. I'm not the one that manages the
Usually, no matter
finances.
what, it's been my experience, they're all reimbursement
grants.
Whoever you hire to do your work, your contractor,
They're not going to be around.
right, they don't want to wait 60 days for, the check to come from your grant source. They want their money, within 30 days.
Right.
So you've got to still turn that around fairly quickly, and so it still needs to be prepared to have the cash flow. Even if you're going to get the money, back in 30 days or something, you got to prepare yourself to have the cash flow to pay those bills.
Right. I think from their perspective, I don't think that they don't mind. It's just a matter of whether on your end you can manage the timelines of getting your funding drawn down in time to pay your consultants.
Polly, I just have one question. I guess, which board, both boards, one board? If we decided to go with the max 67.5 and we have a 10% match, do we have the money somewhere for the 10% match? Well, if somebody's going to say, no, we don't have the money, I want to know now.
It would be in the next budget. Remember that it's coming.
So one thing that would be required though is sort of a letter of commitment for the match. So that would be something that would need to happen before March. So I'm not sure to what extent that could happen if you don't have it. That would be the next, so that's something we'll have to.
Oh, I see what you're saying. I mean, clearly there would be like $6 grand somewhere.
Right.
But
So as long as
just
you
whether it was a line, there doesn't have to be a line.
It doesn't, as long as you're committed to funding.
Okay.
So as far as where, what I need, right, and I think what the Enosburg initiative would want going forward is, a decision on which grant to apply for, and so we could go ahead to start things moving in terms of the application.
Yes, but speaking for our group, we're not expecting that you're making that decision right now.
Right, but soon.
Respectfully. But because of the October deadline, we realistically reasonably need to know probably by your first administrative meeting. Are you done? You're not done for the month yet?
We will be.
Yeah, so so I'm just living here that your first meeting in September would be the due date, at least on the first one, to say yes or no, I guess, you know what I'm saying? Say, yeah, we're not gonna do that one or whatever. And then, I would suggest that the month of September be your decision-making process, trying to decide about the other three. That's a suggestion.
Right, Susan?
Is there any feedback from the board if they're interested in doing this? I know, like Jim said, we're not asking for a decision right now, but is there any? Is there interest? Is there questions from the board that would be really critical in helping you decide whether to move forward or not? You know, I think for the amount of money invested, you might even potentially get some donations toward that if you had to, but I'd like to hear from the board. What are you thinking? Larry?
Myself, I think it's something that we can work together with and find out funding between the village and town, and it's the good of it. All of Enosburgh, not just the village.
Right.
It would be nice to be able to go ahead and look forward to changing the infrastructure over the,
Yeah, I love it. Great idea.
What does the village board think about the revitalization idea?
Myself personally, I'm in favor of all the noise downtown, concerned about what things are going on. One of them, I was strongly endorse the project, the whole project they made is satisfying.
And not just the industrial part, but the entire village.
Billy, do you have any thoughts? You have any thoughts on it?
Oh, I'm thinking about something.
I know, cheer up.
No, it's just coordinating between the selectmen and trustees to, get together to, do a grant.
Yeah.
And it's time consuming, but if we're all dedicated to doing it, it can get done.
And Greta says she'll do it, so.
The great application.
Oh, Greta.
Bigger ditch.
Go ahead, Larry.
I'm in favor of it. I'm in favor of the 67,000. I think that both Selectboard and the really need to come together and make this happen. The sooner the grant is written for this, as far as I'm concerned, the better. But I'd be real curious to see how this is going to lay out. I'm a visual type person, and I need to see stuff in front of me. Shrubs and trees, parking spaces.
Yep.
Although Jonathan and I seem to have a different philosophy on parking spaces. But I promise not to beat him up if you ever beat me up. Fair enough, right? Yeah. So, I don't know, I'd like to see this go forward. I think this is going to be a positive thing for Enosburgh. And at the same time, maybe it'll also drag some businesses in that we drastically need. It's not just the industrial part that's suffering. Our whole community is suffering. We have a drugstore that went out of business, and you can go up down the streets. And that's one of the reasons why we have excess parking right now, because we don't have businesses here.
At 10:30 this morning, there were 2 cars on the street, the
Yeah.
entire Main Street.
Yeah.
So I'm with you, I think it could spread like an epicenter
That's right.
and start with the village, come out to the town. I know
So
guys.
This is all good. I think this is all good. And kudos to you guys for...
This could very much help the industrial park.
Yeah, it could. It very well could.
Now, I got one question on the grants. Can you apply for both?
No.
And then, okay, if you get refused on one, you can go back
Right,
to the other.
this is the way they are.
One or
So-
the other.
If we were to apply for a municipal planning grant, your application would be very competitive, and because you're only competing with
other towns in Franklin and Grandisle County, I think you're probably gonna get funded. I would be surprised if that application was denied. So the Better Connections program will not fund you if you get an MPG. So just that's.
So we need to be the best candidate for that Better Connections.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of a
The
bundle
best,
of
the
Well,
top
wait a minute,
three.
you said they wouldn't fund you if we got the municipal planning grant, but when do they give the municipal planning grant decision out?
Oh, gosh. Before January 31st.
Before January 31st, so we would know, we could work on both of them. We'd know before January 31st.
But if you're granted the municipal planning grant,
Could we decline? Oh, I
you
see.
won't know, like, you'll get the minute, you have to decide to turn it down before you know about Better Connections.
So far, we've never been turned down for
I mean,
every time we.
this is a plan for your designated village center. I mean,
Are these grants every year? Are they out there every year?
yes, they have them. This is, well, the Better Connections is a new program. This will be its 4th year.
What's the area for this one, for the Better Connections?
And so that, I think we need to discuss whether we narrow it to just like the designated village center.
No,
or
what's the area that it's
Oh, Vermont. Yeah, it's not national, it's a state program.
Well, we look pretty bad, so that's a go.
Well, we can do some more PR.
Go for the disco.
More crimes.
I know, Sydney will get you everything.
So what, I mean, if we say, okay, September meeting, we want to go for this, how do we become the best candidate? What sort of information do we need to
So I need to really look at the application. I've not written one of these before. It's a newer program. I think that because you have such a strong community organization effort around revitalization right now, that's great. You have a starting point. I think letters of support are going to be crucial. And partnerships with other organizations. So any organization that, like the Rail Trail, nonprofit steering committee, other organizations, the Department of Health, so not just community
And we've already been
businesses.
really working on those relationships.
Right, but the relationships with other community organizations and having them be able to say, yes, we fully support this and this is how we're going to partner to help make this plan happen. Like that. So that is going to be key to making this application successful. I can say that without even looking at it, but I'll have to get back to you on sort of other ideas once I look at it in more detail.
Okay.
Yeah, thank you very, very
Still
much.
getting some more.
Thank you, Greg.
Talk about it.
You're welcome.
Can I just say though, in addition to, I think one of the concerns is that this is a lot of work. We've been working on this for 6 months, meeting a lot. And then so, in the end, let's imagine that we got either of those grants. Then who takes care of that? Who administers the whole thing? We need a planner person. I think we've talked about that, and that's, I don't know that we've mentioned it today, and that's really what part of the hope is, that we have money's available to fund a position for somebody to take that on and take on these time-sensitive applications and bring this process in the end, take our master plan and administer it.
So there's a few options there. One is to pursue a rural business development grant from the USDA for an economic development position that perhaps could be used to administer this. That's one idea. But then I just also wanted to mention, and this is something I would need to talk to our organization about, but regional planning organizations can use their transportation budgets towards assisting Better Connections grant projects. So there is potential we would be able to do some of the grant administration, and that's how a lot of these other projects have been done as well. So I can't guarantee the level of support right now because I need to talk it over, but
Can you
that's
remind
a
me
possibility.
the rural grant, that's with the July 14th deadline? So that would be up until next July, right?
The Rural Business Development Grant?
Yeah.
No, it's coming up, I have it on my email, I think April. Oh, I believe.
Oh, okay.
Letters of intent due in February and applications due in April.
Oh, okay.
you agree, set a timeline.
Yeah.
Right.
Can we apply for both those things, like this?
Yes.
And I know
Those you can.
And there's no match for the rural one.
No, really?
That's a lot of money for not having a match.
I say no based upon my recollection of talking with Dan and Dan's presentation at the meeting.
Oh, right.
Okay.
It was, yeah.
There was no match.
There was no match for that? That would be
It's a
amazing.
maximum of $30,000.
Yeah, I'm now,
Yes.
making up a story. The story is that, in the month of September, the body decided that they want to go for that larger grant. And in the next 3 or 4 months, whatever that is, there's a really terrific grant application goes in, a really, really strong grant application goes in that has never really gone in for this area before like this. It's a brand new program. I'm telling a story. I'm going to repeat that the people that are at state government level that have been here to visit here are coming back to visit again. And they respond to emails in the same day and provide resources and information. And that it's 3 in 10. I've got to keep saying that too. It's 3 in 10. But you get that, and then this other grant follows along for implementation. If not that year, then the following year, you have access to get that other grant for implementation. Where you pick up that staff person as a grant position, and then you can do some long-term planning for funding that position after that's over or not. That's your decision, but at least you then have that opportunity to not get hit upside the head with it around town meeting day, but you can plan for that.
Good story.
Thank you.
Anything else?
The matching for the larger grant is 10%.
Yep.
And the smaller one, it's around 4%.
It's around $6,700 for that.
$700 price of money.
How do we leave this meeting knowing kind of what we're, what do we do? Can we leave this meeting knowing we're gonna, how we feel about it? Which one of those we might like to apply for? Did we do that? I thought so.
I think the boards, we need to discuss it ourselves and decide ourselves if and what grants we can do overall.
I think probably Greta will be following up with both boards. I think Greta also has to talk to the planning commission a little bit. And when the planning
Or
commission...
through the Enosburgh initiative, I'll sort of coordinate with that.
Sure.
Yeah.
And then when you're ready to get to both boards and make a statement about, having a conversation of who should be the applicant and which transfers people would want to go for, then I assume your contacts.
Well, I guess I'd like to leave it in your hands now at this
So
point.
you do want a decision tonight?
Not tonight, but
That's kind of what Andy's saying.
I'm wondering, both public and, just something, if we leave with something. But maybe you need to make a decision.
I mean, if you're comfortable making a decision tonight, that's fine. I guess what I'm saying is, I would, whether it's tonight or if you get back to us at another date on which grant to pursue.
Right.
But that has to happen in a public meeting. So that's why I was suggesting to buy some time if both boards want to reflect on this. The municipal planning grant anyway, I know you have to go back to the planning commission, and the recommendation actually comes from the planning commission.
But I wouldn't do that unless I think a decision was coming from you that you'd like to see the municipal planning grant over the Better Connections grant. If you decide to go to Better Connections, then I'm not going to start the conversation with the planning commission. Does that make sense?
So, as a taxpayer, I'd like to see either that reflection in a decision, or at the very least, a date where you're going to get back together again to make that decision.
But we can leave you and let you talk about it tonight.
And let us know where you are, so either it happens, or there's a timeline on when it could happen, at least the decision process. And I also want to take the opportunity right now to thank Jonathan and Guy and Walter and Polly, and people who've been showing up at Enosburgh initiative meetings and engaging for themselves, the enthusiasm that's been going on and the different ideas. When Greta talks about relationships, Jim has brought a lot of people into the conversations, so we've already got a strong start on those relationships with the health piece, with the trails, with the rec. I think, you know, I just really appreciate everybody's involvement, and, you know, like Jonathan and Ellen came, and it's just awesome to have everybody involved.
I'm making a suggestion that I'm making a request for our group that at your next municipal board meeting that you each have, that you put that on your agenda and that you vote to go or not go to the grant. And Greta, and we'll assume that Greta can be at that meeting, then you can have 2 or 3 weeks to think about it, talk about it. You can still talk to the planning commission, some of those folks can get a read on that. Does that seem like a reasonable thing rather than, is it a doable thing?
So after we have a discussion, can we not make that decision tonight? Good.
No, I think you can,
Yeah.
but there are other details. It's not,
No, I know, we just need to figure out like who's gonna be
like, you need
the
to find
applicant.
out who's gonna be the
Right.
applicant. You should probably have a discussion then, whoever is gonna be the applicant, whether it's joint or one of the municipalities, you know, a little bit about where the map is gonna come from, although you don't have to determine that. I believe you're going to make a decision that can be thought about and figured out more during the budgeting process, which will come later in the year for both municipalities. But, I mean, if you feel like you're prepared tonight to make a decision, if both boards are prepared, then I think you can make the decision to move ahead. You should probably make at least the decision, though, whether it's going to be joint or whether one of the municipalities is going to apply.
Right, so we're gonna have that discussion. Okay.
Thank you, Holly.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, I'm gonna note. We're good.
Do your work.
Thank you for
We'll
coming.
get out of your hair.
Still discuss that. Yeah, we still have, discussion combining town building bylaws.
You wanna talk about this first?
Yeah, I thought that's what Polly was saying. You were saying you want to make a decision?
I would be fine with that. I don't know about,
I think that put it, which type of grant, whether it's put it on, decision like that. Cool.
yeah.
Who's gonna administer it and all that.
Yeah, that's what we'll talk about. Do you have a preference on like, as far as, I mean, do you have a feeling of whether you should be the applicant holder or if it should be joined? Yeah,
I'm fine with you guys administering it. I don't know. Jim said earlier, to get more spite out of both of the applicant. You guys administer it. I don't know if that's the way we should go on in discussion.
so maybe we could just make it this,
Unless you're going to.
she snuck up.
So basically,
What was the-
tonight, all the whether you want to make that decision, whether or not which we're going to go with, which one.
I think also like,
Basically, all you would have to resolve for tonight, and then the rest of it,
That's what I'm saying. If you can just say we're going with a grant and we're giving support for this type of grant, then she can probably go out of this.
we can explore, and I can come back and talk to each board individually about how the administration would make most sense. If you could, as a joint board, decide this is the grant we think would be the best opportunity for the village.
I'm in complete support of the Better Connections grant. I think it's definitely highly competitive, but like you said, we have momentum and we also have people looking at us to make it kind of go in that area. I think we're gonna get more bang for our buck if we go that way. Makes sense.
That's my goal.
Yes, we will.
I guess, the Selectboard, just asking for a motion. We're gonna go that way, motion, is that a motion?
Well, I guess it depends, or should we decide if, what are your thoughts, or do we make the decision to ask this board and then they make a decision at that board?
the village is going to have to make a decision.
Okay.
Town's going to have to make a decision.
Oh, I see, separately, okay.
But then eventually we'll join together.
Join together, okay.
Well, but there can still be some discussion.
Yeah.
I think about whether you want it to be a joint application or
Well, she said she'd come back to each board after that decision was made tonight. She could visit with each board later on at separate meetings.
And to also talk to the grants.
Right, if that's what you're looking at?
Yeah, I'd like to
It's
have a
gonna-
conversation with the funders about whether they have an opinion about what might make more sense.
Okay.
What you're talking about.
So what you're talking about to make a motion on is just whether the town supports it then?
Which
Not
grant?
necessarily-
Which
supports?
Right, which grant,
Okay,
yeah.
okay,
Yeah.
sorry.
But I just didn't want to make them, sorry.
Yeah, well,
I keep stopping you. I just didn't want to make a motion to go with a grant that you were not in support of. I guess I wanted to be on the same page as you folks, because basically we'll do what you, and, okay, I'll just forego. Okay, so I make a motion to support the Better Connections grant.
I'll second.
so we've had a motion and second to support the Better Connections grant. Is there any more discussion? Have it none. All those in favor, signify by saying aye. All those opposed, say nay. Let's put the Better Connections grant.
Basically, this concept is going to be up to us to look forward a motion one way or the other.
I make a motion that we support the same grant.
Okay, we do have a motion, do we have a second? Is there any other explanations or any other further comment to be made? If not, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion is carried.
Thank you. Good decision. Thank you, guys. Appreciate it.
Thank you. Okay.
If you take that motion, I think,
Yeah, so I'll start looking into what it takes to get a better connections application together, and I will be in touch with both boards about logistics in terms of who should be the applicant and how to get forward with it.
Okay, we're going to move ahead now to discussion on combining the town village bylaws.
Remember you had said there's like a grant, well, it's municipal plan, which is why I was like, so, with the revision of the bylaws, the village bylaws, working with Regional Planning Commission, Taylor at Regional said that, with the next municipal planning grant cycle, here we go, municipal planning grant again, that it would be great if we could merge our village bylaws and our town bylaws into one document. And of course, this conversation came up way before these conversations came up, so that's why I didn't really mention that we may pursue that, but not this year, I guess. So the thought is that currently we work off two sets of documents. We work off the village bylaws and we work off the town bylaws. And so the merging of them wouldn't just be stapling them together. It would be a complete merge of all the rules and regulations for the town of Enosburg and the village of Enosburg. Now, your question might be why bother? We have two. But Regional felt that in merging the two, you tend to get rid of any discrepancies or maybe rules that are happening in the village that are contrary to the ones in the town or vice versa. That by merging the two, you basically come up with a much more solid document. And so that was just a discussion that we had, and we had talked about, I mentioned it to the select board saying, Regional has this thought, don't know what your thought is, and so that was just out on the table. And something that maybe we want to talk about at some point is whether we want to merge those two documents or keep them separate. That's kind of up for discussion. I don't know if you have a feeling one way or the other.
also said at the beginning of the conversation that we were thinking about, or Taylor, for regional planning at least, was thinking about using the municipal planning grant as an opportunity to have regional planning do that work. But now these two boards have just made the decision to apply for this, what is the
Better
Connections grant, which would exclude us from the municipal planning grant right now.
Correct.
So it would be not until next year that we could think about that.
Correct.
So should we postpone that conversation
Yeah,
now?
I think so. And maybe just roll it around your brain, see if it's something that you want to entertain. Yeah.
Can I ask a question? I guess it points to Greta. So we are two different municipalities. If it is chosen that the village applies for the grant that you're talking about, is the town still open to apply for the municipal planning grant?
I'm going to have to take that question off the ladder to ACCD, because also I'm wondering if the projects are so different, could you get both grants? They're certainly not going to give you the better connections for the same project.
No, and that's not what I was.
I know what you're asking. So I want to talk about that with them, and especially since you guys are still two separate municipalities, there may be a way to get better connections in a municipal plan, especially for distinct projects, zoning bylaws, village master plan.
And we just completely, we haven't even had the public hearing for the village bylaws,
That
so
was another thing I was going to
totally
say. was
fine reading.
The planning commission
Yeah.
just
Yeah.
threw a document, like seriously, put them both together, the red line version and the clean version, like this thick. that we haven't-
Maybe you want a break.
Yeah, I think we'll take a break.
Gone through the process of approving those proposed
Right.
provisions.
No, I get you. So,
And also, the Tim Smith industrial, there's some language that needs to be put in.
which they worked on that a little bit, yeah, but even maybe more so. But yeah, no, I'm fine waiting to even tackle that.
Yeah, we had put it on the agenda
Yeah.
before we knew.
Before this happens, yeah.
Well, and I wonder if this whole master plan and this total master plan might answer some of those questions about whether or not to merge those.
Yeah.
Well, and also if with the master plan might come up with ideas for new zoning.
Yeah,
amendments, so.
maybe wait.
Yeah,
Yeah, wait, you're right.
but I mean, it's something to think about going down. There were some very small, comments I have about that for the things that I deal with daily, but we're not gonna consider it right now. There's no point in talking about it.
Yeah.
Because the dimensional standards are very different.
When we talk about that, you say that regional would be doing that.
They would be writing it.
So,
And leading the planning commission through those changes. So when, I don't know if you've ever gone to a planning commission meeting during this process, is basically a representative from regional comes to the planning commission meeting, and they just basically say, okay, what about this section? Do you want to keep it? Do you want to change it? And so there's months of those meetings in order to change your bylaws.
so it's done totally within the scope of your groups, because I'm thinking it would be very important, the conversation alone, where, as boards change and historically, and you're looking at something and you're wondering, what does this mean? Why is it even here? That whether it's kept or not, and maybe it has a really valid reason why it's one way in the town, one way in the village, but in the course of that action, that discussion enlightens everyone as to, oh, that's a really valid reason why, or whatever, and maybe it doesn't get thrown out, but if that person is guiding you through that process, but the conversations are happening here.
Well,
That's what
and, it was brought up at our town meeting about DRB members and being planning commission meetings, and was that a conflict? And we're like, actually, it works perfect, because what we're finding is after the merging of the boards and using both bylaws, that we're like, oh, those two don't work together, and how somebody can go 10 feet down the road and get an entirely different decision. So it wasn't until we started using them that it came up that there were issues. But again, they're both workable documents. We have them, they're about to be adopted, so they're fine sitting on the table. But maybe think about it, just if that's something that maybe we should do or not. I have no meetings one way or the other, but.
And if if we can only do one of these grants, and say we get turned down on this better connection grant, or we want to merge this next year, we're gonna have the same conflict next year.
Yeah, next.
So it would be
well,
good if
but
we
it's-
could find out if these are different enough where we could use this for the planning grant.
For the town and the village, yeah. For the same project, probably not, but, you could also, I mean, you'll still have the opportunity to reapply for those better connections after sort of doing a review.
But I just don't want to keep pushing this off another year too.
Yeah, you'll have to decide.
If you can't, if you can have either one or the other.
Yeah.
With these two different types of projects. So if we can have both, I mean, initially, maybe.
Yeah, I'll still clarify that question in terms of whether it's possible if the projects are distinct or whether, I'll get the answer to that.
Okay, thank you. So that was it for the plan. So basically now we're, the last bit of the agenda, we're basically try to have a joint meeting semi-annually or most probably annually. Since the last one, I've been a little while. And if anybody has any issues that one board should know, share with the other one, or something that may work better or not work better. Going back to the planning commission, if there's something we can do differently, I guess it's basically open discussion at this point. Has it burning?
Isn't Terry not talking about the rock? The big rock? No? Okay.
Apparently not.
Rock and roll.
Big rock?
Big rock. I personally know that sometimes there's instances where like we need to talk to you guys and maybe that comes up where you feel like maybe it'd be good to have a conversation with the select board on some items and maybe having a joint meeting every few months, including Angela because of zoning different things that come up. I think it would be helpful.
This is like looking at a Burlington City Council meeting here tonight. This is pretty awesome.
No,
No, not when they're fighting. Not when they're fighting.
Everybody has a lot of meetings. Sometimes you feel like you're meeting out, but maybe incorporate it in one of our regularly scheduled meetings.
I think
So you guys
this
are
is kind of a
having
little
too
different
many.
meeting tonight where that would probably be better if we had our own agenda. If we knew ahead, a month or two ahead, share something on some topics, some agenda items. I know there was some stuff that went on with the solar panels up there. And different things like that.
I don't think a joint meeting would be hard to schedule. I mean, there are things that we have to go through that would be extremely boring to the select board, when we, doing this, doing that, and different people coming in. But those can be scheduled for our meetings, and you guys have the same problem for you. Have things that you use that are not pertinent to us, right? And you can schedule those at a meeting when we're not together. I have no problem with joint meetings whatsoever.
I think they can prove to be advantageous.
I think so.
Especially as we go into this, we've actually got this grant. Would it be the worst thing to be able to discuss kind of what's going to happen and all of that, as a town and village? I mean, or is it important to have that disconnect? I don't know.
I don't think it disconnects the board right?
I don't either. I definitely felt in like my office with dealing with town regs and the village regs, there's definitely a disconnect in there. And I'm not sure that it's great or advantageous to have that. Especially semi-annually, because we haven't had one in, 2 years?
Has it been that long?
Yeah, we didn't have one last year.
Must have been something good.
Because I've there's
There's
been two since, well, there's been two since I've been here in 3 years. So a year and a half ago, yeah. It's been a long time.
A simple thing, discussion of the sheriff. We brought it up on meeting day. We'd like to be able to keep the taxes down as much as we can. That's one of the things we've seems to be escalating the cost of policing the town. You know, what are you guys' thoughts? What can we do better? Do we have too much protection, too many hours? Do we take too much protection? I don't know. I know a school resource officer that we take them on about 3 months of the year. Do we need that? Or
I think it's going to be almost $24,000 for the summer patrol.
But I mean, it's just thoughts that as another board.
That resource officer now, is that still a grant anymore? You lost the grant from that?
Yeah,
I don't know if there ever was a.
There was one that made it, but 2 years. A couple of years involved.
Right. Yeah. And for the general fund, it's 30% of the total budget, you know? So, we don't say we don't need you, but what are other options?
But that's where the school board is sitting on the top of that.
As you might know, the coverage that they're providing in the village better than we do. Where do you see these guys, all the hours that they're around?
What we're saying about, we should be meeting on a couple meetings a year, or several meetings, or 4 meetings a year, what?
I think every 6 months.
I was gonna say two times.
Once a year.
But definitely maybe before budget season. Like schedule it in before budget season, right? So we can have those conversations about the sheriff and those things that we share.
That's true, because they're gonna want an answer.
Around contract
Because
time.
they run on June,
September.
Oh, right.
sheriff's budget is different than that.
Right, they run fiscal year. So it's a lot.
Once there's something big that comes up.
There's certainly no harm in putting together.
Just a little discussion on the solar panels. It's not on the net metering
I
process.
wasn't aware that was going to be a conversation tonight, but I'll do my best.
No, I just, what got brought up the other day was, I thought there was a cap on what utility, municipalities had to buy for renewable energy, and now there's not a cap.
That's correct.
But there used to be a cap.
There used to be a cap.
15%, wasn't it?
Yeah, first it was 4, then the legislature changed it to 15, and then they removed it completely.
As of this year, that's what the DB told us.
Yeah, I think they actually made the change last year, but it took effect January 1 this year.
So it puts the smaller municipalities at risk.
Every municipality in the state is at risk. And we made this argument to the legislature for several years, and we were told basically that their priority to have renewable energy resources is going to take precedent over our concerns about the financial difficulties their policies are going to create for electric utilities in Vermont. Well, from this one solar project where, we're estimating conservatively, it could be even more, but we're estimating conservatively probably a net loss to the village of Enosburgh falls at around $100,000 a year.
Well, I was, when the project started on board, I was thinking this isn't going to hurt Enosburgh beyond this point because I thought it was going to cap it out. But hey, another couple more of these to come on board, who knows?
That's the fear.
Because
and we're not the only ones.
we as a we can't make a decision on that.
No, we can't either. It's been made for us by our state government.
more people in state governments